How many times have we heard the riches are in the niches? That's true. But today's guest is Lynn Miller, and she's proven that the riches are actually in our expertise also. Yes, Lynn Miller is here with us today, going to show us how to 10x our bottom line according to our expertise and how we deliver this to our customers, our clients. Stick with me, that conversation's coming up. But in the meantime, this week's sponsor is podcastacademyonline.com. Imagining, building, and launching your podcast isn't hard with the right balance of information and accountability. Podcastacademyonline.com will help you build, monetize, and show up on all of the major podcast directories like Spotify and Apple. Academy offers 3 different classes: Build Your Podcast in 30 Minutes, Classes on Demand, or Deep Dive with the 8-week virtual instructor-led class. Visit podcastacademyonline.com and let's develop your podcast. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Another episode, Her Business, Her Voice, Her Conversation. Well, today I am bringing to you an entrepreneur, someone who is doing something that really, when we had our initial conversation, my ears just went up. Boop, 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 boop. I'm telling you, Lynn Miller is here with us today, and she is talking about our content, monetization, those things that we hold so very dear to our hearts, if we're honest about it. I know that I do. So welcome, Lynn. We're just going to dive right in because Lynn is a growth and product development strategist for authors, consultants, and experts. Aren't we all? Most of us fall within those, up under those titles, and we work in those industries. So welcome, and thanks for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, no worries. My first thought is, when I look at your resume, you are no novice. I want everybody to know they're not talking with somebody who's took 1 class, 2 classes, maybe 3 classes, and they said, oh yeah, now I can 10x your expertise.
Yeah, no, it wasn't like that.
Take us back into your background so that we can definitely appreciate where you're coming from and what you bring to the table these days.
Okay. Thank you. No, it wasn't a couple of classes. It was a couple of decades. I've been in the training and development field in corporate and in terms of sales since the 90s, I hate to say. And
hey, somebody had to do it. I'm glad that it's you.
And so I like being on the leading edge. I like looking at what's new, and I like helping people see how it can make a difference for them when they're used to doing the same things the same way all the time. And so I really embraced the world of online learning, and I was good at selling it, and I loved it. And I loved what it did for companies. So I kept doing it for quite a long time. But the thing that was bugging me is, you can do this if you're a big company, but what about the smaller companies? What about the people that really want to be able to grow their business and can't afford the kind of money that companies are charging for this? How can I help them? Mm-hmm. So it kind of morphed. I had some conferences about scaling. And I said one day, I opened my mouth and I said, what would it be like if you could add a 0 to your business? And that's stuck in my brain. But I knew that there were lots of ways to do it. So really the learning part of this changed a lot when the pandemic started. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, I already know how to do all this stuff. I've been around this for so many years, but these authors and consultants, how are they going to do this if they're used to doing things in person? Yes. And so I started out on this journey where I helped people pretty early create courses. And I said, this is a lot of detail. And I said, I want to help people create the strategy, like get ready to scale their business rather than doing all the doing. And so that's where I am right now. And anybody who works with me says, I've been doing this and it's growing and I have a lot of business, but I have no idea how to duplicate myself. I don't want to hire a whole bunch of people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, have you written any of this down? Oh yeah, I have a book. I have white papers. I have workshops. And I said, well, let's look at that. And over the course, by interviewing them and finding out what they really want, that's bigger than themselves, what do they really want for their clients and other clients that they haven't met? That's how we find a strategy for product development.
Oh, wow. That is totally fascinating. I have to raise my hand and say, I never did anything like that. Just you totally take them on an assessment of what they have. And from that, they walk away with a strategy.
Yes, they do. We look at first we look at what they want. First, I ask several questions about what you want and who your clients are, who are your favorites, who do you want to work with the most? And what do they keep coming to you with in terms of problems? And so when we start to mix all that up, it's like a recipe. It's like I love cooking, and and it's like a recipe. You put it, but I put it on a chart. I put it on a grid, and I say, okay, so now where's the material that you use? And we match the material to the different topics that you like to consult on. And all of a sudden, I start noticing, where's the content on this topic? The one people ask you about the most. Well, you consult on it, but you haven't written about it.
Oh, okay.
So we take what you've written and we add to it through interviews. And that's the beginning of the strategy. We say, okay, this is where you're going to make your money first, is teaching people how to do the things that you are good at, but the things that you also want to be known for.
And this is also helping you identify who your ideal client is also, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because, I have one example of someone who has been consulting with lots of different kinds of female entrepreneurs that are middle-aged, but the ones that she is most effective with and enjoys the most are the ones who were superstars when they were corporate, and they want to be superstars as business owners. And they don't, and guess what? The skills that you had as a superstar corporate person, you need some new ones for being a business owner.
Oh boy, isn't that the truth? And how does that kind of news go over to people? I mean, do they take it very well? Because that could be a major blow to one's ego, but it's true. It's true.
Well, the expert who worked with them has been there and done that. She's gone from corporate to business owner and succeeded. And so they trust her, and they've seen her speak and tell stories. And so they believe what she's saying because she has a wealth of knowledge and examples and stories that prove she knows what she's talking about. And so they just say, I didn't realize that I needed these things. I just thought it would be an easy transition, and they find out there's work to do. So when she works with them, beautiful things happen.
Well,
but she hasn't done it in person. She's done it all in person. I want her to be able to scale.
I sense the same thing happens when you work with people, because you make a person own what they've done, what they have, where they're going. It's all about them. It's all about their why and the big impact that they want to make in this world with people. So what you're doing, I'm looking at the 10X, your expertise. It's you are positioning people. So it's almost like, don't try to work with Lynn Miller if you're not willing to put in the work, because there is work involved. Is that what I hear you say?
Yeah, you don't have to 10X your business. You don't have to want to grow by 10 times. I don't expect that. That's a long-term thing, and not everybody has the stomach for it.
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad, because everybody's 10x and everybody wants to be, I want to 6x my income, and people they just throw that around so easily. And how many people are really able to do that? I wonder.
Right. How many people are able to do it, or even care to do it? And so I'm not even one of those people. Mm-hmm. So I do believe that what you're known for, or what is unique to you in terms of how you serve customers, is something that nobody can replicate. There's only one. And that is what could be 10x. You have to take that expertise, take those experiences, take those stories, and put them in a framework that gives the learner, your ideal client, an experience of understanding what you do, understanding what the expertise they need, understanding how to do it, practicing it, and then implementing it. And if they get that far over the course of a journey with you, a learning journey with you, the reward is having time with you at the end of the program.
Yes.
And so that's when you get a chance to give them, the high ticket stuff.
That's the experience of being with you, that person. Wow. So this goes deeper than we're going to a network type of thing, and we're just going to chat it up and eat a few hors d'oeuvres, and I'll follow up with you. This goes much deeper than that, correct?
It does. I've played with a lot of different questions, and I've narrowed it down to 10 questions that we do over a series of different engagements. So the first engagement, we have 3 to 5 questions. And out of that, we see a lot. We see who you want to work with the most, what problems you want to solve the most, how you want to be known as an expert. Because, Margo, everybody knows how to do a lot of things. Mm-hmm. It's what do you want to be known for? I want to be known for making it easy for people to make more money using their expertise. It's very simple for me. Yeah.
And we need it. We need this information desperately.
So what do you want to be known for? And then when you put all that on paper and somebody looks at it and I say, you said this, but this is what I think you might have meant. They say, oh my gosh, I never would have considered those words. Mm-hmm. So I use my writing skills as I'm interpreting what people are telling me. Mm-hmm.
You are another set of eyes and ears because a lot of times we hold I always hear you're holding it so close. It's right up here and you're overlooking so much. Whereas another set of trained eyes and ears going to really open up another door, many, many different doors in your mindset.
Well, my mind is wired for how to make more money because I was in sales and business development for so long. So that's where my head goes. Yes. So I just take what you say and I say, how can she make more money with this? Like immediately.
Just that simple. How can she make more money? Well, I tell you what, Lynn Miller, that's where we all need to be these days, because if we are definitely entrepreneurs and we're not hobbyists, we need to get connected with someone like you. Because can I be honest, coming from corporate, you made money for someone else if you weren't in sales. Yes. And then when you make that big leap to become an entrepreneur, I have to admit, I have to make myself think about how is this going to make money? Because I'm all about the experience. I'm all about what it looks like, the experience, being in the moment. But is that going to make some money for you? After you put in all that time and effort and focus, is it going to make money for you? Are most of us there?
No, hardly anybody's there.
Oh, okay.
I would, some people scale by getting money from venture capitalists. Mm-hmm. Some people scale by acquiring hiring other companies and hiring lots of people. But not everybody has those kind of resources.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wanted to make it easy for people to do it with some help, not all on their own, but with some help. And so I created the 10X Your Expertise course so that you could answer these questions on your own. You could ask me questions about what the assignments are, and I would coach you online.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of answering those 10 or 12 questions, we get 3 sessions together where I work on that program with you, and we come up with like the beginning of the strategy.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So it's like a 5-week working period with you or something like that? 3 or 4?
Out of all the time they spend doing the work, because it probably will take them a week to do the assignments. The rest of it is like 4 to 6 weeks. Yes.
Oh, wow.
And so we end up with that strategy at the end. Mm-hmm. And then at the end of the strategy, we have to look at what is the program that has to be designed. And that's the next stage that I take them through. Mm-hmm. After that. It gets them ready for, if they want to do program development, great. If they just want to create a presentation that they do every time they go meet with clients, they can do that. Or they can create a group program because they don't want to do stuff one-on-one anymore.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. You raise a lot of questions. So there are many
that they have most of the time they have the content already.
Mm-hmm. And you're just working with that so that they can identify and use what they have. So we really have options. Once we work with you, you identify what's going to work out best for you. Let's start right here. And then a person can always branch out, correct?
Right. It takes less information than you think to create the first program. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because if you really want people to work with you one-on-one as an expert and really take your advice, they have to be ready for it. So part of the purpose of the course is to shift their mindset about what they know and what they need to learn.
Oh my gosh. Well, I tell you what, just listening to you and having this conversation with you, this is something that you take for granted. I take for granted. And yes. You wonder why you can't close the deal or make the sale. I'm speaking for myself. I think that it
happened to me. Huge. It happened to me.
But wow. And you're from sales, but so how do people get in contact with you? Because as we set up at the top of this conversation, I wish that we could go ahead and deep dive and really get into this, because I know people are overlooking what you have to offer. And I want to make sure that people know exactly how to get in contact with you so that they can go on this journey with you. And before you give that information, I just have one final question. If we follow through with your program, the 10X Your Expertise, follow through, we're going to shave a lot of time off of our learning curve, off of our being, I think this will work, or sampling or testing. Are we going to shave a lot of time off of that time that, people say, it just has to be this way?
Well, I guess the best answer I have is one of the clients that I've worked with who said I just stopped her from wasting 7 more years.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what they do for a living. They are experts. It comes easily and naturally. And so what I point out is how many steps they skip in explaining what they do or how to do what they do. Mm-hmm. And so you have to have, so I'm their student. I'm actually the student when they're talking with me. So every time I work with a different expert, I learn something new.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. How cool. How cool. Wow. Lynn Miller, how can we get in contact with you?
Well, I'm on LinkedIn. And so my name is Lynn Miller, and I'm in the Chicagoland area. The name of my company is Straight Talk Writer. So Lynn@straighttalkwriter.com is my email address. And that's how people reach me. But 10x your expertise is the brand of what I do. It's the product I created.
Okay. Is there a website that we can go to just to kind of get some testimonials and just refresh our minds concerning what 10x your expertise is all about?
I think that I can give you the link to those pages.
Okay.
And you can send it out afterwards. But this is really a work in progress. So we haven't finished the website completely.
Got you.
But I have a website for Straight Correct Writer, but this doesn't explain it the way the course explains it.
All right.
And then if you're not sure if you want to scale, then we have another course coming up called Get Ready to Scale Your Business. And it basically takes you through questions, but then you can decide how much work do you really want to do?
That's interesting. That's straight talk. That's straight talk, really and truly. How much work and time are you willing to put into this? And I would imagine, how much are you willing to invest also, because nothing comes for free. We have to invest our time, our effort, our focus, our pocketbooks. We have to do that.
Yes. And so a lot of companies, when I was selling this to companies, it was tens of thousands of dollars. And that's not what we're charging for this. We're making it easy for people to start.
I think
we have to do it. We want to do the work for you and with you, because it goes a lot faster.
I heard you say at least 3 times, we want to make it easier for you. So, ladies and gentlemen, Lynn Miller, who is a growth and product development strategist for authors, consultants, and experts, she is the person to get in contact with so that you get clarity as far as what intellectual property you have. What are you working with right now so that you can monetize? Let's start making some real money with what we have in our hands. So, Lynn, I'm asking for just one. I'm looking at the time, just one final golden nugget. What do you want to leave us with?
What do I want to leave you with? I want to leave you with the possibility that you have everything you need to grow your business in less than a year. And everything you've written, everything you've presented is a potential source of money.
That is an excellent way to close out this conversation. Well, a million thanks. You are going to have to come back. As a matter of fact, in front of everybody, I'm just going to extend the opportunity. Please come and have brunch. It's a virtual program that we have once a month. And just let's talk about this a little bit more. And you can share stories. And because I know that we don't talk about how to monetize our content. And if we do, we're literally giving it away when we have spent thousands to create it, to know how to create it. So, wow. Thank you for your time. And I will get those links. Oh, yes. We'll make sure, ladies and gentlemen, that I have those links in the show notes so that you can reach out, get in contact with Lynn Miller. She is in the Chicago area, Midwesterner. So thanks, everybody. This is a grand episode, and I'll see you back next week. Another episode right here. Her Business, Her Voice, Her Conversation. Bye-bye now. Thanks, Lynn.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for listening to Her Business, Her Voice, Her Conversation. Couple of things that I want you to do right now. Go to my website, pick up a copy of Her Business, Her Voice, Her Reinvention, how I went from game show hopping to international show host, author, and speaker in 1 year. Number 2, please freely listen to each and every episode. Share them out with your family, friends, the men in your lives. And then number 3, get in contact with me, one of the experts that have been on the show, because I want to make sure that you reinvent yourself. I'll be back next week with a brand new episode here on Her Business, Her Voice, Her Conversation.